Hey guys, so this is Mordhau, which is a game that's sort of an offshoot of Chivalry. Came out before Chivalry 2. But this one is a little special. It's actually a custom mod. This resembles like an MMO in a way. But anyway, Mordhau is a first-person medieval combat type game. You can play in third person, but it doesn't really change much. I prefer doing it in first. As you can see in the cursor, the arrow, the direction it's pointing is where your mouse last moved. That dictates the angle of the attack that you swing at. You can also roll mouse forward, or the mouse scroll forward stabs. If you do it backward, it automatically does a vertical swing. But you can do that manually too. So this is a special mod that is survival RPG mod, open testing server, Mystaria. It's run by a guy called Crazy Mike, I believe. Let's see. You start out with a really small inventory, but I've expanded that over time. I've also had help and got high level armor and weapons. Essentially, if you've played Mordhau, you would recognize a lot of towns that are on here. You essentially took a bunch of Mordhau maps and combined them into a truly open world map. So, for example, south of here is Fatoria, which is an existing Mordhau map. There's other areas, Wolfpine Village, Riverside Logging Camp, Grad Castle is a map. I'm currently in Eldham Village, I believe. There's Castello over here. No, that's Eldham, is near the tutorial. So basically, let's see. Go to my inventory, you'll see I have Mount Whistle on 5. Just press that and it summons my horse. You can buy a Mount Whistle from most, or not most, but some merchants or traveling merchants. And once you've bought a horse, which is relatively cheap, it's only 500 gold, doesn't take that much to save up for the sake of convenience. You can have a horse anywhere you go. And if you use the Mount Whistle again, it despawns it. Your horse can die and you would lose it and have to buy a new one, but it's pretty easy to keep it safe. So if we look at where I'm going, I'm heading south. The compass shows up occasionally at the bottom. So I would be heading towards Victoria. But I think instead I'm going to show you guys Castello. Castello Fortress is a good dungeon type area where there's a lot of enemies and a boss or two and some good loot. An important factor of getting good loot is enchanting your armor with looting luck. This makes the loot tend to be better. There are NPCs around town like this blacksmith who offers you random equipment. It's sort of like Diablo style. It tends to be randomized. There's only so many spaces you can sell things at, unfortunately. So if you got a bunch of stuff and you want to make a lot of gold, you would have to go around to different merchants. The Armory Master here can re-roll stats like armor bonuses you see there. To get better gear, I basically re-rolled until every piece of my equipment had looting luck. I could potentially roll for a higher percentage of looting luck, but this seems decent. And it can cost a lot of gold if you do it enough times. So altogether, we look up here at buff lists. I'll have to exit that window first. Press tab to go there, and then click buff list. I have in total 64 looting luck, until I equip my greatsword and 86 looting luck, which I'm not sure exactly what it means. I think it means I basically have an 86% like higher quality loot, or you know, it could just be 86% more chance to get higher tier equipment than what's common or uncommon. You would aim for rare, which I think is the same as exquisite. It'll say exquisite next to the weapon or armor name, but it always says epic as the type in purple font. So it's essentially the same thing. I'm gonna try and quickly ride over to Castello and keep this video short. Show you what it's like doing a dungeon run. If you were starting out the game, you would probably go here first after you get very basic equipment, and you would want a party, because these guys they're not too easy. They're not the hardest in the game. The hardest is probably up here at the Abandoned Lookout Bastion, which you would eventually go underground and fight wraiths, which are powered up NPCs. You basically would only want to go there in a big party, even with all exquisite gear on. This is a random bandit, apparently. He's immediately trying to kill me. Oh, he kicked me. He's not strong, but he has a decent AI. Keeps trying to kick me. That guy is kind of tough for a random bandit. Early on, I definitely made a bunch of pit stops at bandit lookouts or bases in this area on the map. Since you start all the way down here, I made my way up here, fought a lot, got some decent equipment for below level, and then made my way northward. So keep going towards Castello. Looks like I'm heading in the wrong direction. Follow the compass and go northeast from here. The downsides to the mod, I think I mentioned one already, is that inventory space is a huge headache. First thing you want to do is get something you can kill enemies with, right? And, no animation. Oh, that's just a peasant. Okay, well that's kind of weird. It's a work in progress, but it's still amazing. I mean, look at this. This is all one world. Well, you can't see up there, it's foggy weather right now. But there's no zone loading. It's literally one map. It's very impressive to me. It looks good. So, you know, ideally there would be a much bigger server in terms of, like, speeds it can handle. And then there would be a lot more people, and it would get very, very interesting in my opinion. Mordhau itself has a downside of, like, to block, you can only block for a short second. You can't hold it down unless you have a shield. And it makes it harder, but it's really arbitrary because it's just unrealistic. Someone can swing and then cancel their swing, and then you're blocking, and then you're forced to wait. So all they have to do is feint, and they get to hit you. So, yeah, I don't like it. I really prefer Chivalry 2. In general, it's much more fun. But Mordhau has players versus environment in co-op modes that Chivalry 2 doesn't. So that's definitely a huge feature that you might like. You'd probably want to get them both if you like both PvP and PvE. If Chivalry 2 had co-op modes against NPCs, I mean, besides beginner mode, then I would just play Chivalry. But this video is about this mod, which I think deserves more attention, and you might want to check it out. I'm pretty sure this is the North American server, but there's definitely other servers. There's a cross-server chat, so there's probably one in Europe. I discovered this server literally just by looking at the server browser without any filters on. And yeah, it downloads everything automatically. It didn't take long. It's kind of risky riding down this way, but looks like I can manage. You're also able to build structures in this mod. Like this was actually built by a guild. This entire thing. And they set up a merchant or a warehouse manager that you can use. Which is basically your storage. That's not your inventory. If you die, you seem to drop 1 or 2 items at random from your inventory, so it's risky. But, you know, that's just how it is. It's not that hard to get a nice, exquisite, or rare level weapon again. But once you found a perfect one, I mean, you just take the risk. So I am technically in Castello right now, but enemies don't show up until you get inside the castle. So it's pretty safe to ride the horse up here. The downside with Castello is there's a lot of NPCs, so it can be a little laggy. As in, like, the AI lags. But you kind of get used to it. Basically block a second, like a moment after you're supposed to block, and you'll succeed. Stuff like that. It's like nuanced. I think people who have experienced it would know what I mean. This is a lot worse than usual. I don't know what's going on here. I've actually never seen it like this. Yeah, they had to like activate. These guys are weak, but I'm also pretty tough with this loadout. Another thing I wanted to show is, let's see, here, these legs I have on, these leg armor, it has the dodge perk, which is why I'm able to slide left and right and backwards. Normally you wouldn't be able to do that. So there's a lot of ways you can customize your build to your playstyle, to the strengths of what you think you need for a certain area. Like when you're fighting against the raids in that much harder area, you're probably going to want like fireproof. If you don't have fireproof on your armor, you can craft a potion to give you that for like an hour or however long it lasts until you die. So yeah, the guy who made this is definitely doing a great job. And for all of its downsides, there's clearly a way to make it better, whether it's through more funding or just more time to work out the kinks. But it's really impressive in my opinion, and if you have Mordhau or if you're interested in trying it out, you should definitely do it. What I'm really here for, because regular enemies drop items, but it's probably not really good. Depends what you're looking for. Let's see. Spell Charm of Destruction, a bolt, which is for crossbows. Yeah, I forgot to mention there's magic. So you can bind a key to the ability menu. There's Leaping Charge, which you charge forward. You can set a hotkey to launch that again without going to the menu, but I think I forgot mine. It doesn't do any damage, it's just like a more advanced dodge or a rushing attack, to where you can use a regular attack afterwards. Arcane Missiles. This uses a Spell Charm of Destruction. It's basically a ranged attack without using ammo. But yeah, it uses the Spell Charm, so that's technically ammo. Same with Fireball. It's probably a stronger magic projectile that does fire damage, and apparently has the same effect as a firebomb, where it immolates the area. That would be good for a group. Let's see. Featherweight is really good. It takes away fall damage for a certain amount of time, which is very short. If you jump from the very top of this building, you'll still die because it'll wear off before you hit the ground. But if you go like halfway down, you'll be okay. And I haven't tried out Arcane Field. But it apparently has like... It's probably a safe area or something here for a short amount of time. It's not really worth it in my opinion. Divine Favor is healing. It's very useful if you don't have potions, but I have several in, as you can see, I have 13 strong health potions, so I'll be fine as long as I don't get killed before I can use them. There is a cooldown to potions, so you can't just go into a really tough area and spam potions to survive. It won't work. I think as a nice feature, they let you block this guy's attacks. Normally in Mordhau, you will not be able to do that. You can see, yeah, he does a lot of damage, even with my good armor on. So I would still prefer to have help for this guy, but it's possible for me to win. Because of the cooldown on potions, I'm going to use that now before my health gets too low. Oh, yeah, I'm not hitting him for some reason. An issue with lag. What I like to do here is make him chase me. And then go around and get the chests before he can catch up. He's gonna stop and go back down. I'm not sure how often things take to respawn. It's probably like 20 minutes. Meanwhile, the chests are only accessible once every hour. And I think if you leave the boss alone for a while, his health will recover, but this one, maybe I didn't go far enough away for that to happen. I might be able to beat him. Can't afford to get hit many times in a row. There we go. Okay, so he drops his own boss loot. Nothing great here, but you will want to get the high-grade material caches. They will give you pretty much everything you need to craft high-level equipment once you get the recipes for them, so they're worth saving. We have, let's see, recipe scroll. I already got all those, so it's trash. Just check to make sure I got it before I throw it away. Got an exquisite weapon box, so you have a chance to get a longbow, a recurve bow, or a crossbow. I'll just hold on to that. I already have a longbow, but it's fine. So let's actually open that. Crossbow. So, yeah, instead of using a longbow, I can have a crossbow. It'll do very good damage. I can reroll its abilities or perks to try and get looting bonus. Coin purse. You get coin purses instead of just gold. For whatever reason, it's easier that way. So, as you can see, this takes an hour to cool down. It's not worth sticking around because the enemies respawn much quicker than that. So since I have a lot of inventory space, I'm just going to go around and loot what I can. When I came here the first time, I only had like 10 slots, so I had to like pick and choose exactly what I wanted to keep. It took a lot longer. That's why it's good to prioritize expanding your inventory space, getting a horse, and getting at least some kind of equipment that you know how to use or like to use, and go from there. So I got these in the middle, I got 2 on those sides, on each side. There's one more chest up here at the very top. It's defended by one guy who is not a boss. He is not here. There are also other chests around the map, but I tend to just go for this. Thought I heard him. Can't tell if that's the music or whatever. Yeah, so that is pretty much a decent example of what you can do in this game. Or what it's about. Not the game, really, but the mod. Gonna try and find a place I can jump down. Yeah, this should do. So, if I jumped right now without this spell, I would die. I'll cast this. Just fall. So you can see near the end I sped up a little bit. If I was still falling, even when the counter was at 2 or 1, I would have died. Because it exponentially wears off even before the count's over. You can see I use the spell charm of mysticism each time. They're not very rare, they're not very expensive, but you need to make sure you have it. Yeah, there's something really fishy going on with these guys right now. The thing you don't want to do when fighting regular enemies is get pinned against a wall. Goes for anyone, I guess. My stamina's out. Ow. That guy was a little stronger than most NPCs. See how strong the crossbow is. It's not bad. But it only gives me like 1 attack. If I was posted and shooting at a boss, that'd be different. Looks like he went back and healed. I don't know what that screaming is. Yeah, that means the boss just respawned, so yeah, that didn't take long. Yeah, that's honestly it, so there you go. Check out the mod for yourself. There's only ever like maybe 5 to 10 people on, but I think that's going to change as it improves, so there you go. I'll see you later.